So, I know I'm either late. Sorry about that. I couldn't find a good time to talk about it. But I wanted to talk about this past Monday Night Raw, which was, I think, May 12th. It was May 12th. When, I want to preface this by saying, Jay, I know you're probably a good guy. Nothing against you personally. You might even could beat me up if you wanted to. Or you could stick Roman on me. You could definitely beat me up. But I wanted to talk about Monday night's episode of Raw because it just baffling. Jey Uso and Ilya Draganov were in the semifinals, and first of all, Jey Uso wasn't even supposed to be involved in the tournament. It was supposed to be Drew McIntyre, but now, ironically, Drew McIntyre beat Ilya Dragunov. I could definitely be even. I would probably been okay with, but Jey Uso wasn't even supposed to be involved in the tournament. It was because Drew was injured. I think this is legit. I don't think it's a storyline. But, honestly, why would it be a storyline? Because, why would they advertise Drew for King of the Ring, such a big name, and then take him out at the last minute to replace him with Jey Uso? I could see them doing it under the McMahon era, but definitely not the Triple H era. But then again, they made the decision under the Triple H era, so I don't know. Jey Uso faked Ilya Dragunov in a King of the Ring semi-final match with about 13 minutes on the clock. And I'm like, okay, a quick victory for Ilya. There were a couple sparkling like, oh, would they win? That'd be a horrible decision. That would absolutely be horrible. But he didn't. Ilya kicked out of that. But Ilya ended up using a spear, the spear outside the ring, and a yes. I think it was a spear, a super kick in the ring, and then a pass. Now, nothing against Jey Uso. Personally, as a competitor, I definitely don't think he's as good as Ilya Dragunov is. Did you see his match? As a singles competitor anyway. As a tag team competitor, he's great. With his brother Jimmy, and he's just great. Well, they're just great together. But as a single competitor, it's not. I know that they're trying with someone. They're trying with the main event Jey Uso thing. But I just never. Outside of maybe Hell in a Cell, that I quit match. Now, I didn't think he was winning, but I just never really bought Jey Uso as the main eventer. Especially with all the other names you have on the roster, like Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, or Kevin Owens, anything like that. And, some of those stars are already main eventers. Just the stars that aren't the main eventers yet. Like a Chad Gable, like a Ilya Dragunov, for example, like a Finn Balor, like like other names I can't think of right now, like Oscar, for example. Oscar's fallen so far. Oscar's dog fallen the yacht. I mean, there's no hope for her, probably outside of going to AEW. Which I'm saying you're good. I'm saying you're good at this night too. Shout out to her. Saying Shayna's on a nice road to rehabilitation. But that's the point. So I was reminded a couple days ago, and I just watched these matches back. I just watched these matches back before this. Ilya Draganov versus Gunther for the United States or for the UK Championship. Those are brutal wars. And Gunther won the first one with Dave Meltzer rated 5. Dave Meltzer rated 5 stars. And Ilya won the second one with Dave Meltzer rated 5.5 stars or 5/4 stars. I can't remember. For people who say Meltzer has a WB anti-bias. Meltzer has a bias against WB would be the right thing to say. For all the people who say Meltzer has a bias against WB. So what we're expected to believe now is that Jey Uso beat Ilya Dragunov. Ilya Dragunov, who has beaten Gunther in a much better match than this one, who's beaten Gunther, who coincidentally went on to be the youngest reigning Intercontinental champion of all time. He beat Gunther for the UK Championship. And we're expected to believe that Jey Uso could beat Gunther or Jey Uso could beat Ilya in 13 minutes? And I don't. I mean, Jey's a good wrestler, but Jey's nowhere near where Ilya Dragunov is. I mean, did you see his match with Jimmy Uso? I mean, I know it came out that, hey, it was a time issue, and I don't believe that. I just do not believe that. Because if it was a time issue, I've seen much better matches than this one. Fit in a lot more moves. I was gonna say something from another promotion, but yet you take Kurt Angle and Mysterio, for example, at SummerSlam 2002. Fantastic match. They have 10 minutes, which I think is about the same time that Jey Uso and Jimmy had. And they put on a barn burner of a match that's still talked about as one of the greatest opening matches ever. I also saw something that I agree with. I mean, they had time to differentiate, but I agree with this one. This take said, the problem with Jimmy and Jey Uso is they don't have anything to differentiate their movesets from one another. And yeah, I can say I kind of agree with that. I was hoping we would get some differentiation between Jay and Jimmy as a tag team competitors when he became main event Jey Uso, but we really didn't. I mean, besides the Bill, which he's added into his arsenal now, there's really nothing to differentiate the two from each other. And hey, I mean, Ilya's gonna be fine. Ilya's not buried 6 feet under. I mean, it's definitely not a good look for Ilya that he got to Jey Uso in just 13 minutes, which coincidentally, he recently got the NXT Championship in a match against Trick Williams, in a match I also was vehemently against him using. Now I sort of expected him to use, not that I wanted him to, I sort of expected him to use, though he would go to the main roster, but that was about 13 minutes to maybe not including entrances, maybe 10 minutes. They put it up on WWE.com, and you can see the timestamp. And I mean, I say that was a better match than this one. I mean, it wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, it's hard to go from Ilya beating Gunther for the UK Championship in 5-star matches back to back with this guy to winning the NXT Championship, which I don't. I think he wanted from Carmelo Hayes, which his matches with Carmelo Hayes were great. I think Ilya should have either gone undefeated, went to the main roster with the NXT title, went undefeated until he got to Gunther again, or Carmelo Hayes should have beaten him. But but what happened, and he's on the main roster now, which I'm semi-happy about. And I've seen it floated around. I've seen some excuses floating around. Well, you see, Gunther isn't as big or Ilya isn't as big a star as Jey Uso. Or do you know how over Jey Uso is or whatever? But Jey Uso just like Seth Rollins, he's only, not that I'm gonna say Seth Rollins only up because of the theme. I mean, Seth had a lot of time to prove himself before his theme got over. But the only reason, well, maybe not the only reason for the bloodline stuff, but the only reason he's put that single act now, well, pushed so hard at it, is because the theme is over. If it wasn't for theme, I'm not gonna say it wouldn't be over, but if it wasn't for theme, he definitely wouldn't be over at the level that they perceive him to be now. But I've heard the excuse given, oh, so you'd rather have Gunther and Ilya Draganov on the random Raw and the King of the Ring semifinals than Gunther and Ilya on a pay-per-view match on a pay-per-view stage with no commercial interruption? And I can see that. But I think that's a straw man. I think that's a cop-out because honestly, if these people were really honest with themselves, Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther would be a banger regardless. I mean, it took place, their first match took place during an NXT UK 2020 show with no fans at all. And they had, if I remember right, they had, advertisements in between. They had commercials. It was on the W Network, but still. And it was, I say Meltzer rated it a $5 match. I mean, for whatever stock you put into Meltzer rating. I don't put everything into them, but I do raise my eyebrows a little bit whenever I see something get a good rating from Meltzer. It's usually a great or fantastic match, either one. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I don't think this is gonna. Like I say, this isn't gonna kill Ilya Draganov. It isn't a good look for him, certainly, to Jey Uso in 13 minutes. Maybe if the match was younger, I'd feel differently. Like if it was a really hard fought match, and these men really, especially Jey Uso, really had a chance to show what he can do, which I can't think of anything super special right now. Maybe I'd feel differently if the match was younger, but as it stands right now, I think this was a massive mistake. The only thing I can think of is, like I say, they want to save that Gunther Ilya match, and they didn't want Ilya to Gunther this soon. But the poison challenge of that is, well, you didn't want Ilya to Gunther, so you had him mute to Jey Uso. Jey Uso, a man who Gunther's already defeated, dominated. I didn't see the match, but I'm gonna suppose it would dominate. And who's for Cameron to see that again? I mean, I'm thinking of not even watching Raw this Monday. It was appointment viewing when I thought it was gonna be Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther, but now I really don't care about anything on the card that I can remember. But like I say, though, that's just my thoughts. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry this is so late. I just couldn't find the time to really talk about it. But thank you for listening. I'll see you when I see you next time.